Narrated by Emily Johnson. Welcome to Obituary Weekly. This week, we ask the question, who died this week in September 2025? Behind every obituary lies a story of struggle, triumph, and legacy. Let us remember together. Wade MacLeod. Picture this. You're flying across the ice, heart pounding, when suddenly everything goes black. A collapse that changes your life forever. But what if that diagnosis was brain cancer, and you still laced up your skates to fight back? This is the unbreakable spirit of Wade MacLeod, born on January 20th, 1987 in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. A kid from a tight-knit family who fell in love with hockey before he could tie his own skates. From the frozen ponds of his youth to the bright lights of college, Wade exploded onto the scene with the Northeastern Huskies, shattering records with 149 games played and 137 points. He carved out a pro career across the AHL with teams like the Springfield Falcons and Toronto Marlies, the ECHL's Manchester Storm, and even overseas in Norway with Narvik IK. But just when victory seemed within reach. In 2012, disaster struck mid-game. A collapse revealed an aggressive brain tumor. What followed was a decade of hell. 6 grueling brain surgeries, brutal chemotherapy, radiation that stole his voice for months, and 2 more cancer scares in 2019. Yet, against all odds, Wade skated back onto the ice each time, defying doctors and inspiring a nation. Off the rink, he poured his grit into entrepreneurship, launching At Headway Hockey to mentor young players, all while cherishing his dream family as a devoted husband to Carly and proud dad to 2 spirited daughters. But on September 17, 2025, at only 38, Wade's valiant battle with glioblastoma ended. His voice may have been silenced, but his roar of resilience echoes on, a beacon for every fighter facing the unimaginable. Stories like Wade's don't just inspire, they ignite. Ed. Packard. In a world of political noise and doubt, one man quietly guarded the ballot box for decades, until a sudden twist cut his mission short. Who was the unsung sentinel of Alabama's democracy? Meet Ed Packard, born February 16, 1968, in San Antonio, Texas, to a U.S. Air Force family that bounced him across states, forging a young boy into a steadfast public servant who eventually rooted deep in Prattville, Alabama. His calling? Democracy itself. For 25 unyielding years, he served in the Alabama Secretary of State's office, rising as a top elections administrator and expert on voter transparency. He broke barriers as the first in his county to snag a master's in public administration from Auburn University, turning his knowledge into action. In 2022, he stepped into the spotlight, running as the Republican candidate for Secretary of State, championing fair, fraud-free elections amid national turmoil. Colleagues whispered of his tireless nights poring over voter rolls, always one step ahead of chaos. But then, without warning, on September 14, 2025, at just 57, Ed's watch ended abruptly, a life cut short, leaving Alabama's electoral guardians reeling. Remembered as a pillar of integrity, his quiet crusade ensured voices like yours were heard untainted. Heroes like Ed often fade into the footnotes of history. Marilyn Hagerty. What if a simple review of endless breadsticks could catapult a small-town scribe to global fame? But behind the viral moment lay a lifetime of words that wove communities together, until fate pulled the final curtain. Born May 30th, 1926, in the wide open prairies of Pierre, South Dakota, Marilyn was a dreamer with a pen from the start. As a teen in 1943, she was already scribbling stories for the Pierre Capital Journal, a spark that ignited a 70-year flame in journalism. By 1957, she'd become the beating heart of the Grand Forks Herald, dishing out heartfelt columns on potlucks, floods, and the everyday magic of North Dakota life. Her style? Unpretentious, warm, like a neighbor over coffee. Then, in 2012, at 86, lightning struck. Her earnest, no-frills rave about a new Olive Garden went supernova online, drawing laughs, love, and even a book deal from the New York Times. Who knew al dente pasta could bridge generations? Through it all, Marilyn anchored her world with love. Married to fellow journalist Jack Hagerty for 48 devoted years, until his death on June 13, 1997, during their evacuation from the devastating Grand Forks flood. She raised son James Bob and daughter Gail, who called her the unbreakable heart of the family, even as she typed through personal storms. Yet, on September 16, 2025, at 99, complications from a stroke silenced her keyboard forever. Marilyn's legacy, a testament that authenticity outshines algorithms, her simple truths still warming screens worldwide. Ever had a Marilyn moment that changed everything? Marilyn Knowlden. At just 4 years old, she stepped into a world of spotlights and silver screens, rubbing elbows with giants like Katharine Hepburn. But as the cameras faded, her real magic was just beginning, a secret symphony waiting to unfold. Marilyn Knowlden entered the spotlight on May 12, 1926 in Oakland, California, blessed with fabulous parents who spotted her spark and thrust her into Hollywood's golden haze. By age 4, she was a pint-sized powerhouse, stealing scenes in 31 films from 1931 to 1944. Think the poignant innocence of Little Women in 1933, the glamour-drenched drama of Imitation of Life in 1934, and the revolutionary fire of Les Miserables in 1935. Directors adored her poise. She was a bridge between silent stars and talky titans. But Hollywood's roar couldn't contain her. As the roles slowed, Marilyn reinvented herself, emerging as a composer and playwright, crafting music and lyrics for 10 full-length musicals that graced stages far from Tinseltown. She poured her soul into memoirs, too, offering intimate peeks into the Golden Age's glitter and grit, from child labor woes to the thrill of first calls. In 1946, she found her off-screen leading man in Richard Goetz, building a legacy of love with 4 children while her creative fire never dimmed. Hobbies like writing became her quiet rebellion against fading fame. Then, on September 15, 2025, in Idaho, at 99, Marilyn slipped away from natural causes, the last flickering light of classic Hollywood's child wonders. Craving more whispers from Tinseltown's lost era? Bob Milano. From the dusty fields of Oakland to the roar of college diamonds, one coach turned underdogs into legends. But what hidden battles did he wage off the field to etch his name in baseball immortality? Bob Milano's diamond destiny began in